The moment you die, your body does not stop. It shifts. Every cell in your body has been running on a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It is the energy currency of life. Every heartbeat, every nerve signal, every thought you have ever had required ATP. And the second your heart stops, your cells begin burning through whatever ATP they have left. Most cells exhaust their ATP supply within a few minutes. And when the ATP runs out, the machinery of the cell begins to fail. Not all at once, not cleanly, piece by piece, system by system, in a sequence that biologists can track almost to the minute. You do not simply stop, you unravel. The first thing that happens is a cascade called anoxic depolarization. Your neurons, the cells that carry every signal in your brain and body, are maintained by tiny pumps in their membranes called sodium-potassium pumps. These pumps run on ATP. They keep the inside of each neuron negatively charged relative to the outside. That charge difference is what allows neurons to fire, to send signals. When ATP runs out, the pumps stop. The charge difference collapses.
And every neuron in your body fires simultaneously. One massive, uncontrolled electrical storm across your entire nervous system. Researchers at the University of Michigan, in a 2023 study led by Jimo Borjigin, recorded this surge in dying patients and found that in the seconds after cardiac arrest, gamma wave activity in the brain, the type associated with conscious perception and dreaming, surged to levels higher than those recorded during normal waking life. Whether that surge produces any experience is unknown, but the electricity does not stop the moment you do. Within the first few minutes, rigor mortis begins its preparation. Not the stiffening, that comes later, but the biochemical setup for it. Muscles contract using a protein called myosin, which requires ATP to release its grip after each contraction. Without ATP, the myosin locks in place. The muscle cannot relax. This process begins in the smallest muscles first, the face, the hands. It peaks across the whole body between 8 and 12 hours after death. And then, as the muscle proteins themselves begin to break down, the stiffness gradually releases, usually within 48 hours.
Rigor mortis is not the body freezing. It is the body locked in the last position it reached, unable to let go. Meanwhile, something called autolysis is beginning. Every cell in your body contains structures called lysosomes, small membrane-bound sacs packed with digestive enzymes. While you are alive, those enzymes are safely contained. They break down waste, they recycle damaged molecules, they are part of the cellular maintenance system. But lysosomes also need ATP to maintain their membranes. When ATP runs out, the lysosomal membranes rupture, the digestive enzymes spill out into the cell, and the cell begins to digest itself from the inside. This is autolysis, self-digestion, and it begins within minutes of death in oxygen-sensitive tissues like the brain and gut, and progresses outward over hours and days through every tissue in the body. You are not rotting, not yet. You are dissolving from the inside out, using the same enzymes that kept you alive. The gut is particularly important here, because the human gut contains roughly 38 trillion bacteria, a microbial ecosystem that spent your entire life helping you digest food, regulate your immune system, and produce molecules your brain depends on. The moment your immune system stops functioning, those bacteria are no longer contained. They begin migrating through the gut wall and spreading through the body along blood vessels and tissue plates. consuming the same autolysized tissues that your own enzymes have already begun breaking down. This is putrefaction, and it is the gut microbiome, your gut microbiome, that drives it.
The organisms that digest you after death are not foreign invaders. They were with you your entire life. But here is where it gets strange. Not all of your cells die at once, and some of them survive for a remarkably long time. Skin cells can survive for several days after cardiac arrest. Bone marrow cells have been successfully recovered and cultured more than 4 days after death. In 2021, a study published in Scientific Reports by researchers at the University of Barcelona found that gene expression, the active reading and use of genetic code, actually increased in some cell types after death. Certain genes activated post-mortem that had been largely inactive during life. These were stress response genes, immune response genes, and, most unsettlingly, genes associated with early embryonic development. Death, at the cellular level, does not look like an ending. It looks like a response. The body treating its own death the way it would treat a catastrophic injury, mobilizing systems, activating genes, attempting repair. It is a response to a problem it cannot solve. The boundary between life and death is not a line. It is a gradient, a slow, uneven withdrawal of the processes that define living, spreading at different rates through different tissues, leaving some cells running long after the whole has stopped. You are not gone the moment your heart stops. You are going. The last cells to fall silent are deep in the bone marrow, quiet, unaware that anything has changed, still reading their instructions, still doing their jobs, until they cannot. And then, finally, completely, you are still.